Good morning again, everybody. To begin this morning, I'd like to ask you to think about a good event that happened in your life that came out of the blue, that surprised you. Does anyone have one, and are they willing to share it? As long as it's brief. Jan.
Nancy offered to pay my way to go to the fundraiser.
Oh, someone offered to pay your way to go to the fundraiser. All right. Anybody else? Perhaps it was meeting a partner or getting a job opportunity or a creative idea. Oh, wake up. The time change is over. Judy. Meeting the third husband, Judy Heilman, the manifester, Jack. The inspiration to write your book, Maria.
Having my son.
Having your son, awesome. These are great things. Steve.
Beating cancer.
Beating cancer, awesome. Well, I hope, does everyone at least have something?
Oh, yeah.
You know, something that happened? Now, the question I want to ask you now is, did this take place, do you believe, more so because of chance or because of choice? Was it something that just completely happened out of nowhere, or kind of like a game of 6 degrees of separation? Could you trace it back to certain choices that you had made in the past? I can think of something like getting the call randomly one day from Reverend Peggy Price with an invitation to come and be a co-minister here. And as surprising and as wonderful as it was, I still have to say that it wasn't so much because of chance, but because of choices that I had made in the past, or choices to do with a relationship with this church or with her that kind of led to that surprise engagement. And it leads me to the central question of the talk today, which is when it comes to really creating the life you want, when it comes to really getting what you want and being who you want to be in your life, are you leaving it to chance, or are you making it with choice? Are you leaving it to chance, or are you making it with choice? Now, there's nothing wrong with chance, and I believe in chance, but my message to you today is that choice is more so the creative power in your life when you use it with intentionality and with spirit. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, "We should choose that which we wish to embody, and by constant attention to it, take on all its characteristics. Let us choose to be identified with power, with love and beauty, with peace and happiness. Let us identify ourselves with abundance and with success." It's a powerful message that says that when it comes to getting what you want in life, don't focus so much on just wishing and wanting it to happen, but to begin to identify those qualities that have to do with what you want or who you want to be, and to download and embody as much of them as you can in this moment. And by living from that, you set forth a creative process in your life. You can leave it to chance and just be hopeful, or you can make it with choice, choose it now and seek to live it in your life. In our teaching, we don't believe that God creates our life for us, nor do we believe that we create life ourselves. We believe that we co-create with the sacred our divine life. That yes, there's a lot that is left up to the divine to create for us, but the divine, in a sense, also demands that we know who we are, that we know what we want, that we seek to become it, not through the power of our wishing or even our hoping, but through the power of our choosing to seek to become it as much as we can right here and right now. Now, a lot of folks who live their lives by chance can often find that they're like someone who's waiting in line for a ride that's never going to come. That they're wishing or even flailing at times, hoping that something that will come about for them through some sort of magic that they don't set forth on their own, but that will just hopefully take place for them. Linda McLemore is a great minister in our movement, and we're actually using her book, Alive with Spirit, as our book of the month this month. It'll actually be in next week, so it's our book of the month starting next week. But she says that sometimes we can be like those tall, skinny, balloon-like figures usually seen beside car lots. They rise and fall as the air pumped in them rises and falls. They wave wildly, stand upright for a few seconds, then fall again over and over all day long. Does that sound like you? Sounds like me sometimes. But there's hope for us, McLemore tells us. She says, our days seem to go that way with our physical energy rising and falling, yet the creative spiritual energy of life within us does not waver, nor does it rise and fall. And that's a big thing, is that in our teaching, we don't so much believe in the God of chance. We don't so much emphasize the spirit of an alien power that's out there. We believe in a God of choice and a God of creativity that surrounds us, that is always within us. And when we learn to identify that spirit of creativity in ourselves and start to choose to live from it and for it, we believe there's no more creative energy than just that. All that being said, it's not like I want to put living by chance down. Some of us have probably gotten really lucky through chance, right? Had some events happen. But I can tell you, even pondering the talk title this week, I was surprised to realize how much I subconsciously lived my life more in accordance with chance at times than with choice. Just yesterday morning, I was running in Belmont Shore, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, but on 2nd Street there was a big ladder on the sidewalk. And without even thinking about it, I pretty much ran right into the middle of the street to run around that ladder, putting myself in danger. So I was so willing to give up, to make a bad choice in order to keep to that superstition of no way I'm going underneath that ladder. But sometimes we can live our lives that way, living in accordance with superstition and not honoring the power of our volition, the power of our ability to choose our attitude in any given circumstance, or to make a choice of investing in a greater good for ourselves. I like chance as well, but I don't know about you, but I've had good chance happen in my life and not so good chance happen in my life. I'm also remembering the story of a woman in 1980 who bought 2 lottery tickets, one for the Massachusetts State Lottery and the other for the Rhode Island State Lottery. And both tickets had the winning numbers. Isn't that amazing? Unfortunately, the numbers on the Massachusetts ticket were for the Rhode Island raffle, and the tickets for the Rhode Island raffle were for Massachusetts. Bummer, right? Doesn't life just suck sometimes? I mean, but that's the thing, and even science teaches us, even the improbable will probably happen eventually. But it leads us back to that question, am I leaving my life to chance, or am I making it with choice? So when the chance doesn't turn out as I would like it to, I still feel empowered. I don't feel controlled or asked to suffer. Something that a lot of us spiritual folks in particular can do is we can be not so aware that we're living our life based on chance. And what we often do is when something goes awry in our lives, we say, well, God just meant it to be that way. That's what the gods wanted. That's what Spirit wanted. Couple, I broke up with my partner. God's plan. Lost my job. This is just the way that Spirit wanted it to be. I'm not healthy. I don't feel whole. It must just be the way that Spirit is leading me through life. And all of that might be true. I don't mean to disrespect it, but could it be that your choices have something to do with that too? Could it be that there are choices being made in your relationship that are affecting how it's turning out, or affecting your health, or your creativity, or your work life? It could be a balance of both. There's this old story about a man who heads into a village to visit who's known to be the greatest archer in all of the land. And he's amazed to be walking by these wood pilings and seeing how the arrows are just right in the middle of the bullseye, one after another, after another, after another. And he seeks this great archer, and he finally sees him by one of these wooden plates, and he sees that the arrow is in it, and the man, however, he's not holding a bow and arrow, he's holding a paintbrush. And what is he doing? He's painting a bullseye around the arrow. And can you see how sometimes many of us, we kind of live our lives like this? Wherever the arrows fall, we go, oh, that was just exactly how it was supposed to happen. And I'm not saying that's a bad way to live, but I think that there's a smarter way to live our lives. And that is to do our best to hit the target that we're seeking. But even if we miss, we don't have to make it so. We continue to choose again. We continue to try again. We seek to live from right effort, from right thinking, from right feeling, because we are a creative power in our lives. And we can't use chance to build our lives. We can only use choice. So choose choice in your life and ask yourself again, in any situation that challenges you, in any situation that you're seeking to create, am I leaving the results of this to choice, to chance, or am I making it with choice? It's so often in our lives that we're often seeking a return to life, but we're unwilling to make an investment in it. We want things to come forward for us, but we're often not willing to do the work that helps us get there. Another way of putting it is we want life to choose us without us having to choose it. Love, choose me. Success, choose me. Good health, choose me. But what we're missing out on sometimes is that, perhaps God does give us just exactly what we want. The universe says yes all the time. It's just from IKEA and doesn't come with an instruction booklet. We have to make it. We have to create it. If you want love to choose you in your life, you may have to choose to invest in a relationship. If you want success to choose you in your life, you may have to choose to build a skill or a talent to help create that. If you want good health and a sense of emotional well-being in your life, you may have to choose to meditate some, to take some longer walks, to be at peace within your being. We have to build the life that we want to live. I remember a story that Harville Hendricks, the therapist, once shared about a man who came in to see him who claimed that he didn't have any friends. And you could tell that he kind of wanted attention from his therapist. And the therapist got tough with him. He said, there's millions of people out there, you're right, and not one of them is your friends. But he pointed out, if you want a friend, you've got to make one. You've got to make one. We have to choose to invest in something to make that happen. I remember being about 19 years old, and I was working on these cruise ships, and the whole crew got off one time, and we all went to the bar. They snuck me in. I was really excited. Not so much to drink, but because there were girls there. So I was excited to talk to a girl, and I just really wanted one to like me. I really wanted one to be interested in me. And so I took my drink of liquid courage, and I think I introduced myself to every girl in that bar. And there was an older gentleman, a captain, who was kind of sitting in the back, and he said, "Josh, get over here." His name was Mike. He was from Alabama, so he had a drawl. I said, "Get over here, boy." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Boy, you got to stop scatter shooting. Stop your scatter shooting. You got to find, stop aiming at every girl in here, and you've got to focus in on just one." And I know it's not very PC or politically correct, but it was pretty good advice. It didn't work, but it was good. It was good advice. And it's a good truth about life that if we're looking for something to admire us, what are we willing to stop and admire? If we're wanting someone to choose us, are we willing to stop and to make a choice? If we're wanting some sort of commitment to show up from life around us, are we willing to make the sacrifices that it takes to make that commitment ourselves? If we want a return from life, we have to invest in it. And hoping chance swings our way is no way of investing in your life. It's stopping right here and right now and saying, what choices can I make today for the betterment of my life and the betterment of my becoming tomorrow? What can I do right now Now, we may think that the choices we make today may not have a big effect on tomorrow, but they do. What you choose to think, what you choose to eat, how you choose to behave, all of these things are investing in a future return in your life. Now, I'm not saying, that being said, that you don't stop and have a bowl of chocolate ice cream once in a while, or don't beat yourself up if you get angry. The idea is to always choose with the awareness that our choices are like a currency, that we're investing into this thing called life, and that it's spitting out in its own way right back to us. All that we say, all that we do, all that we seek to care for. Maybe you don't know what you want in your life, but one of the most powerful things to do is to stop and focus on who it is that you're seeking to become. I always love how William James put it. He said, seek out that particular mental attribute which makes you feel most deeply and vitally alive, along with which comes the inner voice which says, this is the real me. And when you have found that attitude, follow it. When you found that attitude, follow it. I think it's a powerful thing to stop and look at some of those things that may be presenting challenges to you in your life, and to ask yourself the question, in this circumstance, am I leaving it to chance, or am I making it with choice? If you're wanting to experience healing in a relationship, am I leaving it to chance, or am I making it with choice? If you're seeking to create something in your career, am I leaving it to chance, or am I making it with choice? If you're seeking to increase your creativity, an art project that you're working on, are you leaving it to chance, or are you making it with choice? It doesn't mean that you can't choose to trust in a creative spirit to demonstrate and bring things forth for you, but it's up to us to say, do we want to sit on the outside of our lives looking in, hoping on things that might happen? Or do we want to claim right here and right now that spirit within us that we know is the very truth of who we are, and bring it into those places where it may be missing? Because if it seems like something's missing from your life, it's probably you. It's that demonstration of that truth and spirit of who you are. A final quote from Dr. Linda McLemore for us today. She says, turning away from what is happening around us is not as important to our happiness and joy as turning toward that which uplifts us from within the spirit of life, creativity, and joy. One more time, turning away from what is happening around us is not as important to our happiness and joy as turning toward that which uplifts us from within the spirit of life, creativity, and joy. What is yours to turn towards in your life? What is that destination in which you seek to set your course? What are those ideals? What are those visions? Set them now and make those choices today that invest in their return to you tomorrow. It's my belief that life, the universe, God, is always at all times in its own way asking us two questions all the time. They are, who are you and what do you want? Who are you and what do you want? And although the divine may always know the truth of who we are, it really, in my mind, doesn't know the answer to those questions. It sincerely really wants to know, who are you and what do you want? And it's up to us to say, how am I going to answer that question? With awareness or with a lack of awareness? With the awareness of choosing mindfully, to the best of my ability, my attitude, how I treat others, how I seek to be in the world, or subjectively, to where I can take an inventory and start figuring out what I told life at a later date, experiencing perhaps the beneficial or sometimes even negative consequences of what that is. But it's up to us to make those choices today that create better and better chances for us tomorrow. So just closing with a prayerful moment this morning, I just invite you to ask yourself one more time in relationship to anything that is going on in your life. What now is that choice that I can make this very instant, towards the demonstration of what I'm seeking. It could be a choice about who I'm going to be, how I'm choosing to act, the thoughts that I'm going to allow to fill my consciousness and influence my actions. Knowing indeed that there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is your life and that life is my life now. I just simply know that each of us is surrounded by a holy presence. It is both one with us and at the same time so near to us that we are able to feel and know its presence like an old familiar friend, like an old familiar feeling, remembering the divine in our lives again. As we choose from this divinity, we lay forth a greater foundation for our life, for creativity, for love, prosperity, and well-being. We give thanks for it and allow it to become, and so it is. So thank you for your time, everybody, this morning. It's great to see each and every one of you, and let's